Our final two candidates are Town Council Ward 4, Earl Moore and John Rudisell. Mr. Moore was not able to be here tonight, so we will be asking Mr. Rudisell the questions only. Can you please introduce yourself and state the key points of your campaign?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for everybody being here tonight. I appreciate you turning out. My name is John Rudisell. You'll see my signs in town, they just say Rudy on them. Everywhere I've been my entire life, it's just Rudy, so that's what I go by. I think it was Ronald Reagan that said some of the most difficult words to ever hear coming from a politician is that we're from the government and we're here to help. So, right? So, what I'd like to say to that is that I'm the last person you ever expected to see here tonight. Politics isn't what I do. I'm just a hardworking, decent man that's trying to make my community a better place. But there was also a Shawnee Indian chief named Tecumseh, and he said that you should make your life long and in the service of your people. You are my people. I am home now. From the time that I leave here tonight until they bury me up at the Big Cedar Cemetery where the plot's already picked out, that's where I'm going to be. The three things that are important to me here tonight is, number one, is it seems like there's not a lot of people involved with the community. There's a lot of misinformation. One guy will tell you one thing, somebody will tell you another. None of them are true. So I think we need to get some transparency here at the council. I also am a law enforcement guy, 24 years with the military, 9 of it was active duty, 12 of it was in a reserve capacity as a master at arms. The rest of that was spent in the law enforcement and security field. Lastly, I was at the EPA as a lieutenant for on a federal government contract. So I definitely support law enforcement. I think we need to, safety is first. Everything else should come second. Our EMS and our fire and our law enforcement is critical to me. And then I think it's important that we find ways to keep our kids here. I am married to my high school sweetheart, who's back here, and she's just surprised me, Kelly Brett, the granddaughter of Carmen Brett and Sylvia Brett, lifelong Brookville residents. I now live in the house that Carmen passed away in, and I go down and I fish in that spillway every day on a little rock that Kelly used to fish on as a kid. So she's back home and I'm back home, but we need to find a way to keep our kids here through industry, through work, so that they can stay in our churches, stay in our schools, and then stay in our community and keep that country value going that we all love so much.
Thank you. What experience do you have that you feel qualifies you for this position?
I've always been the guy that we'll start with the military. They look for the volunteer, I'm the guy. I don't know what I'm getting into, much like this. I have no idea what I'm getting into. I will say this, it's already brutal. People have already attacked me that don't even know me. It was a complete surprise, but here we go, right? I think the doctors mentioned that earlier, so here we are. With the military, you start out at the smallest guy. I think Bridget Hayes is here tonight. She was a military officer, and she had an exemplary military career. You guys should be happy that she's running tonight. But I started out as the little guy at the bottom. I used to scrub the toilets, scrub the floors, make the racks from the very bottom. I ended up my military career as an executive driver at the White House for the inauguration of Donald Trump. So I went from that guy to that guy, making friends. And the way I did it was I kept my word, I kept my commitment. If I didn't know, I seeked it out. I'm tenacious, I'm kind, and I'm a fighter. And those are the things that I think this town needs right now, more than anything else, is somebody that will just stop and listen, do the research, make it public, get the feedback, and bring it to the council. And I'm the guy to do that for you.
Thank you. If you received $1 million grant to use for the city any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
Law enforcement, EMS, fire department. In $1 million, it's gone. I know that every time I go in to buy a Pepsi or get a sandwich, there's a little bucket for a K-9 unit. There's no reason with the drug epidemic that's going on in our communities now that we don't have a drug dog. With the drug dog comes training for an officer. With the training for the officer comes a new vehicle. It's expensive, but it's safety. And if you're not safe, nothing else matters. Who here has been robbed in Brookville? Right? Not nobody. Right? I leave my fishing poles out. I leave my boat out. I leave my trailers out. I haven't had anything disappear. This is a safe town, but it requires a continuous commitment from your law enforcement. The volunteer fire department, who else is willing to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and run out to help somebody who's crashed a little car. We just had a little girl died up here on 52. I watched the volunteers flow in, one after the other. They take, in combat, you see people die, right? The PTSD. These guys go out there and volunteer their time and their commitment to go out and pull us off the streets. The fire department, who's willing to run into a burning building, right? I'm not, and I'm a pretty tough guy, but I'm not. So $1 million doesn't go very far, but it'd be easy to disperse it between the fire department, the EMS, and the police department.
Thank you. How do you plan to involve residents from your ward?
Well, fortunately, as I was listening to the district representatives, they got to cover a lot of territory. I've got a small little section down there at the bottom of the hill. Anybody that's walked past my house knows that you're not going to get past me without a conversation. I like to chat. I like to hear what's going on in their life, what's going on in their community, and how they feel about things. The town is divided. I hear the golf course a lot, the annexation. So-and-so is going to make money. Great. They're bringing money, right? It takes money to make money. So-and-so doesn't want it. So-and-so does want it. There's such a division in this small town right now that with a little bit of good communication, I think we can get everybody kind of on the same page. Everybody needs to win a little and everybody needs to lose a little.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think our Main Street is healthy and successful? If not, what would you do to change that?
I do think it is because I spend a lot of money on the Main Street here. There is some vacancy, but that's just growing pains, right? We're in transition, right? The town's trying to grow. They're making improvements up. They're buying golf courses. They're running electric. Things are improving, and with that is going to come the houses, right? I would assume there's going to be some building, there's going to be some residential put in. With residentials come people, with people come other business opportunities. I'm like Bridget, I don't like the open window look when you come through town. I think that maybe for a small investment, you could correct that, but we've got a tremendous resource up here with this Brookville Lake. We've got the people of this community who are the most decent, hardworking, honest, God-loving, family-oriented people that I've ever been around. And I've been around the world. I've traveled everywhere. And I could have gone anywhere to retire, and I came back home. Because these are beautiful people, and this is a beautiful place. So there's always room for improvement. You're going to have dead areas, but I think that Main Street is moving fine. I know I spend a lot of money on it.
And in closing, would you share with constituents anything else about your campaign or that you would like for them to know?
I would. I'd like to tell everybody that I'm not a politician. You're welcome to come up and look at my hands. They're calloused, right? I work hard. I've done my tour of the military duty. It was honorable. I've retired with a full retirement. I've raised 2 beautiful children, 2 boys, and they can't work in this community because there's nothing for them here. So they drive to Cincinnati to work. I would love for them to get married and raise children and have them in our churches and have them, on our river. But they can't do that here. So eventually they're going to move closer to work, right? We all would, right? So I would just ask that, know that I'm not a politician, but I'm honest and I'm available. I'm at 620 River Street. And if I'm out, I'm always talking. And I can't do this without every one of you. Everybody that's sitting here today has a respect of the community, or you wouldn't be here. So if you tell your neighbor that I met this guy named Rudy, and he's this, or I trust him, or I like him, or I think he's in it for the right reasons, then I can get elected on May the 3rd, and then moving forward, we can go from there. My full intention is to take care of this home because it's mine now, and it's yours now. And I just want to be a good neighbor and a good friend. And I appreciate your vote on May 3rd.
Thank you.